Hello, 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 my loves. Happy Monday. Happy solar eclipse day. And welcome to another edition of the weekly Astro Forecast live here in the Astro Room on YouTube. I am your host and your favorite astrologer, Mel of Divine Feminine Works, where I help people unlock their divinity and discover their magic. So if this is our first time meeting, welcome. And as always, if you are returning, welcome back. So this channel is everything not tarot. I do readings, but this channel is everything astrology, spirituality, and manifestation. So if those are the things you like, if those are the things you love, or if those are the things you want to learn more about, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so you will always be notified when I come out with new content. All right, my loves. So this is the weekly astro forecast for the week of April 8th through April 14th, 2024. So how are we feeling post eclipse, since this was obviously a cataclysmic, apocalyptic, cosmic event, right? It's so funny to me because I don't know if it's because I teach astrology, I practice astrology as a professional astrologer, so I'm always tuned into what's going on. However, it's like so many people have been talking about this eclipse. I feel like obviously we've entered the age of Aquarius, right? So things like astrology are going to become a lot more mainstream, but the attention that this particular eclipse has garnered is just mind blowing, right? I mean, the last time we had a great American eclipse was in the summer of 2017, and they made a big deal about it then. However, I feel like this particular eclipse, it's like this was all I've been hearing about for like the last 3 days. And what's so funny is that, not funny, haha, obviously funny, ironic, is that, you know, the level of fear and the level of just doom and gloom that has been circulating is also mind blowing when that's the exact opposite of what this eclipse represents. And just how, it's just been on everybody's mind, and just how it became such a part of daily life, right? Like it 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 leaves me speechless, to be honest, right? But how are we feeling? Because we've just wrapped up the first eclipse season of 2024. So by way of, learning astrology, there are two eclipse seasons every year, one in the spring and one in the fall. So that's another reason why it's so mind-blowing to me, all of the attention that this eclipse is getting. Is it's because this is just run-of-the-mill stuff, right? It just so happens that the path of totality went right through the United States, right? So you could see it. But this stuff happens all the time. It happens 4 times a year. Not every eclipse is a total eclipse, right? It's not this apocalyptic event, but it happens 4 times a year. So it's something that, we should be used to at this point. But what I do like about it is that we're all becoming a lot more cognizant of it and becoming more aware of it. And the fact that we're becoming more aware of it means that we can harness this energy and use it to our advantage rather than allowing people to scare us into submission, essentially, right? So again, how are we feeling? If you're joining me here on the live, drop a quick note. Let me know how this eclipse is treating you so far. If you're watching this on the replay, hit the comment section and let me know how you are feeling. I mean, I've been hearing a range of things. Like people have either been really wired, really sleepy, physically ill, emotionally overwhelmed. It's a lot. And this is an eclipse that is bringing up a lot of things. It's an eclipse that is wiping the slate clean, and it's an eclipse that is planting us into new and different soil so that we can bloom into something perhaps completely different than what we've been, or who we've been, I should say. So interesting time nonetheless. So apart from that major event this week, everything else is looking kind of run of the mill, except for a particularly difficult transit that we're going to be experiencing midweek. But I will explain and illuminate you so that you are completely prepared. All right. So before we get into all of the details, of course, housekeeping and announcements. So If you are joining me here on the live this evening, thank you so much. Let's see who we have so far. We've got Jermichael, we have Maminka, we've got Nina, we've got Patricia Jean. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. I sincerely appreciate you. Please say hi on your way in if you're joining anytime after now, and click that like button. It lets the algorithm know that you like this content, and it will disseminate it to other people who may like this content as well. And if you are joining me on the replay, I appreciate you just as much. I sincerely hope that you get what you're looking for in this broadcast. And if you do, would you be so kind as to hit that like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell if you haven't already? All right. So if you are someone who's interested in getting your horoscope, but you don't know where to look, or what you're finding doesn't necessarily resonate, then you'll definitely want to consider joining my text service, where you will get your weekly horoscope texted to you every Monday morning. All right. And if you're interested, you will want to text the word Zodiac to the number 855-826-5544. That information will be in the description box below. All right. And as always, if you are someone who is brand spanking new to astrology and you have no idea what's going on, or you're not so new to astrology, but you still haven't got everything down pat, don't worry, I got you covered. I created this thing called the Astrology Basics Cheat Sheet, which essentially gives you the quick and dirty on everything you need to know to start studying and understanding astrology, namely the 4 pillars of astrology, which are the planets, the houses, the zodiac signs, and the aspects. So it's an 11-page PDF document that gives you a quick summary on all of these so that you can start committing them to memory and start learning and understanding them, because regardless of what anyone says or doesn't say, astrology is indeed a science, and like any science, it requires a good deal of study. So I created a cheat sheet to help get you started. If you're interested, it's completely free. The link will be in the description box below. All right, and I'm super excited to announce my channel membership, right? So if you are looking for more content, specifically sign specific content, consider becoming a roommate. That essentially entails you joining my channel membership. For a small monthly fee, you get access to extra content, you get discount on my products and services, and most importantly, you help support the channel, because I've got really big plans for this channel, and the membership is a great way to help build the channel and get extra content. So if you're interested in that, the link will be in the description box below. All right, and last but certainly not least, I've got my first webinar happening this Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is how to read your natal chart. So this is the first in a series of monthly webinars where I will be teaching you astrology in sort of bite-sized pieces. I had someone ask me, why didn't I just put a course together? But a course is kind of a big commitment, right? So I kind of just like to chop everything down into bite-sized pieces and teach them to you on a monthly basis. And so the first webinar is how to read your natal chart. You definitely don't want to miss it. $35, 2 hours. And by the time you are done, and by the time that we are done with the webinar, you will know how to read your natal chart effectively. And the reason why this is so important is because your natal chart is you. It's the essence of you. Studying your natal chart is studying you. It's a practice in self-discovery. And a lot of people know bits and pieces of their natal chart, but I'm going to put the entire picture together so you understand the most important subject of all, which is you. All right. So again, that's this Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't worry if you can't make it. It will be recorded and you will receive the recording by email thereafter. All right. All right. So back to the matter at hand, this solar eclipse in Aries, this fiery energy, this being planted in new soil. I saw this beautiful reel this afternoon from someone that I follow, this entrepreneur that I follow, and she lives in Dallas, Texas. And so she was in the path of totality. And she just took a time lapse of what her office looked like during the eclipse, right? And she has this big, huge window, so all of this natural light can come in. And it was like, for a good 3 seconds, it was pitch black. It was darkness. And I can understand why people would initially fear that, right? The darkness, you're kind of conditioned to be afraid of the dark. In the dark, you cannot see. But when I watched that video, this feeling of peace, this feeling of feeling refreshed, like washed over me. It's like, wow, this is a real new beginning. And I sincerely hope that this is the energy that you guys can tap into as well. I get the sense that if you're watching this video, you're already on this path. So you already know what the deal is. I don't think you're necessarily someone who is scared. Although you may be a little apprehensive, maybe a little anxious about the future, which is completely normal. No one is saying you gotta, be all rough and tough and not care, not feel anything. But it's important that you understand what this time really represents. It's all about you. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, right? And so it's the beginning, it's the initiation. And Aries has everything to do with the self. So much of the energy of this eclipse should really be focused on you, right? And understanding that it is an inside job. Whatever it is that we want, whatever we want to bloom into begins on the inside, obviously, right? You have to embody what it is that you want. And this eclipse is giving you ample opportunity and energy to do so. So you definitely need to take advantage of that. Like, it's such profound energy for a number of reasons. All right. So let's get into the highlights. All right. So first, we have what I like to call fresh out the box. And this is the new moon solar eclipse in Aries. It's a new time filled with new beginnings, and a new portal is now open to us. All right. And so I will explain all of that in a little bit. Then we have what I like to call sharpen your knives. And this is that difficult transit that we will be experiencing this week, namely Mars conjunct Saturn in the sign of Pisces. So it's going to be about getting to work. It's going to perhaps provide resistance in your life, especially wherever Pisces is in your natal chart. But resistance allows you to strengthen yourself, to strengthen your resolve, right? So it's definitely one of those transits that may test you just to make you stronger, all right? It's also about addressing your darkest desires and perhaps even your darkest fears. There's this darkness to this particular transit that you're going to need to get comfortable with. And I will explain all of that in a little bit. And then finally, we have what I like to call news flash. And this is going to be the Sun conjunct Mercury, which is also known as Mercury Cazimi. And this is going down on Thursday. It's three things. It's going to be a time that may be very busy. So there may be a lot of activity towards the end of the week. News is going to be coming to light, and it may likely be good news because anytime a planet is Cazimi, and I'll explain what that is a little bit later. I'm sorry. I know I keep saying I'll explain everything later. It's just because it's the highlight section, okay? It's in the sweet spot in relation to the sun, and so it's a very fortunate position for that particular planet. So with Mercury being the planet of communication and ideas, this could be a flash of insight. This could be good news that comes to light. It could be all of that good stuff. And then finally, it's a time for you to be vocal. It's going to be a time for you to exercise your throat chakra, to speak up, and to speak up authentically, right? Because anytime we're talking about the sun, we're talking about our expression, our personality. So this may be a time where you feel extra expressive, especially because this is going down in the sign of Aries. All right, so let's get into the week and see exactly what we've got going on. So today, obviously, we have the solar eclipse in Aries, and we also have the sun conjunct Chiron. Thereafter, tomorrow on Tuesday, we've got the moon moving into the sign of its exaltation, which is Taurus. On Wednesday, we've got Mars conjunct Saturn in Pisces. Thursday, we've got the sun conjunct Mercury in Aries with the moon moving into Gemini. And then Saturday, we've got the moon moving into its home sign of Cancer, right? So without further delay, let's get into it. All right, so you see that cluster of planets at the top of the chart. This is what is known in astrology as a stellium, where you have three or more planets smushed together in one sign. Although it can be between two signs depending on the degree, but usually it's one sign, three or more planets all smushed together. And so we've got a whole bunch of Aries energy, including the solar eclipse and the sun conjunct Chiron. All right, so I did an entire video dedicated to the solar eclipse. If you haven't watched it already, it'll be linked in the description box below, so definitely check that out. It is important for me to say off jump, right, that eclipses are like chapters in a mini series. The story continues. However, the eclipse represents like a crescendo or like an exclamation point in that overall story. So while nothing may have happened today, right? Maybe you're thinking today has been relatively quiet, maybe a little boring. This energy, it's like it comes in waves. So the effects of this eclipse may not manifest in your reality for a couple of weeks or maybe even a couple of months. Anywhere up to 6 months is the time period or the time frame for eclipse energy. So it's important that you stay grounded and present so you don't miss anything that's going on concerning this eclipse energy. And to know what's going on with this eclipse energy for you, you're going to want to look at where Aries is in your natal chart. Whatever house Aries is the area of life where this is going to play out. Okay, so definitely keep that in mind. So the numerology with respect to this eclipse is the number 1, and that's super important because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, and this eclipse is happening at 19 degrees, which reduces down to the number 1. So it's all about newness. It's all about starting new. The slate is wiped clean. This is going to be the time where you are ready to start something new, perhaps something you've never had before, something you've never experienced before. We're in a very different place right now, not just because of the eclipse, but because we've got Pluto having recently gone into Aquarius. So this is a new mindset. This is a new era. So even if you're desiring something that you've desired in the past and never achieved, or even if it's brand spanking new, the way that you approach this thing, this goal, this dream, this desire is likely going to be different because you have access to new consciousness, new awareness right now. So remember that when you think about what it is that you want and how to go after it, don't allow yourself to psych yourself out by thinking that because you wanted this thing in the past and it never came to pass, that it won't come to fruition in the future. You're different now. You have a different mindset. And it's really important that you remember that. Now, the way also that you're handling this whole eclipse energy situation differently is the fact that this eclipse is conjunct Chiron. Now, I also did a full video on what Chiron is. I'll also link that in the description box below. However, Chiron is known as the wounded soldier, and Chiron has a lot to do with our insecurities and our wounds. It is the trauma that we sort of hold on to, right? It's our emotional baggage, essentially. Now, Chiron, the glyph for Chiron is actually shaped like a key. And understanding and working with your Chiron actually is like a cheat code. And it unlocks the door to your potential, okay? So you may be experiencing a lot of emotions at this time. There may be a lot of stuff coming up at this time. So it's really important that you address what comes up. It's really important that you address your wounds, that you don't just stuff them down, that you allow yourself to process them, because that's what's going to help usher in this new era for you personally. So it's really important that you pay attention to that. And then the final thing I'll say about this eclipse is that Mercury retrograde is going on, and it's also conjunct this eclipse. So perhaps what you want to start is something from the past, or maybe someone from the past or a situation from the past may be resurfacing. And this time you're going to have a different go at it. It's going to be different, hopefully, right? If you've done the work, if you are, looking at things from a different vantage point, of course, right? So it's really important that you don't just like shoo away anything from the past that comes back up. If it's coming back up at this time, it may be really important to your future. Whether it's someone or something that's supposed to remain in your future, or it's supposed to teach you something or have you reflect on something, and that what you learn from that reflection is going to be used in the future. So the past is really important right now, and it's really important that you process it, that you pay attention to it, and get the lesson that you're supposed to be getting right now. All right. So also today, we've got the Sun conjunct Chiron. And so this is sort of what I was just explaining. However, because the Sun is also in the mix, this is about being aware of your wounds, of your traumas, of your insecurities. Like it's going to be like a neon sign. You're not going to be able to miss it, right? And as jarring as that may be, it serves as information on what you need to work on, what you need to let go of, what you need to conquer. Keep in mind, all of this is going down in the sign of Aries. Aries is ruled by Mars. Mars is the warrior. So Mars is all about conquering things, okay? So it's not just enough to be aware of your shortcomings or your insecurities, whatever. It's like you've got to, I want to say get over them, but I don't mean it in a flippant sort of way, like, just get over it. No, it's like you've got to, the best way to get through something is to get through it, right? You've got to conquer that fear. You've got to conquer that insecurity. It may be scary. It may be anxiety filled. However, once you get through it, you're pretty much going to be golden, if I'm being honest. Okay. So it's really important that you are aware of what those things are, meaning those insecurities. So be present right now. Don't shy away from how you feel. It's so important that you don't further stuff things down or neglect things or say, I'll get to them later. No, do it now. That Aries energy is impulsive and it's impatient. So you may feel like, listen, I want to get over this for good right now. I don't want this to linger in my life anymore. Do it now. Do the work now. Face your fears and watch how your life changes over the next 6 months. And I'm not even saying that just to say it or sound dramatic. It's true. It's true. Like I can't impart upon you enough how different things are right now. This isn't 2020. This isn't 1984. This is 2024. And we are in a new era with new mindset, with access to new information. I don't care if what you wanted didn't come to pass in the past. Maybe it wasn't time for it then. Maybe you weren't the person who could sustain the thing that you wanted. But guess what? You are now. You are now. And this eclipse is also giving like reinventing yourself as well. You don't have to be who you were. You don't have to be tied to your past identity, to your past mistakes, even to your past successes. Like this is it's the time for a new person. It's the time for you 2.0. So now you got to decide who that is going to be. If you didn't get the chance already today to meditate, to just be quiet, to just be still, to just think about the things that you want, the things that you want to achieve, who you want to be, then take time this week to do so. Get really clear on that. The one thing that Aries energy is known for is focus. Aries isn't all over the place. Aries is like, I want this thing, almost to the point of obsession. So you need to get in that frame of mind. And again, watch your life change over the next 6 months. All right, let's keep it moving. All right, so tomorrow we've got the moon moving into the sign of Taurus. And you will see that at the left-hand portion of the chart with the moon at 0 degrees of Taurus. So I like this, especially off the heels of this eclipse. Like, it's funny because I was talking to someone today and they were saying like everyone at their job was like freaking out. Like not even just freaking out, like people were forgetting things. Electricity wasn't working. Like it was like a complete shit show at their job today. And she's like, it made me kind of nervous. She's like, I'm not someone who was thinking anything in particular about this eclipse. But when I was around all these people, like it was making me feel anxious and like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Or like, right. So there may be a lot of that in your life. Maybe you're not the one who's buying into the fear, but you've got a whole bunch of people around you who are freaking out or whose energy is really wonky, right? Moon in Taurus gets everyone to calm down. So the moon is exalted in Taurus, meaning like the energy is very, very potent. And with that, Taurus likes to relax. Taurus likes to feel good. Taurus likes to feel comfortable. It's this feeling of comfort and security that the moon gives us, or that we can tap into when the moon is in Taurus. So chill out tomorrow. It's one of those Netflix and chill kind of days when the moon is in Taurus. It's that time where you kind of just want to relax, put on your favorite sweats, eat some comfort food, be close to people that you love. Like, it's just real chill energy. And so I hope that it'll calm people down a little bit after the hysteria that some people have been engaging in with this eclipse. All right. It's the time to also be appreciative and to practice gratitude. Whenever the moon is in Taurus, I personally love to engage in like gratitude exercises, whether it's just meditating on what I'm grateful for, whether it's scripting what I'm grateful for. Being in the energy of gratitude allows you to raise your vibration. And in doing so, that's how you start attracting more things to be grateful for. And be grateful on Tuesday and into Thursday. All right, let's keep it moving. All right. So on Wednesday, we've got Mars conjunct Saturn in the sign of Pisces. And you'll see that at the upper left-hand portion of the chart, both Mars and Saturn, the red and the maroon glyphs, will be at 14 degrees of Pisces. All right. So this is perhaps a challenging transit. Okay. Mars and Saturn, both of those planets are known as malefic planets, meaning that they are not so positive. They represent things like strife, conflict, combat, Mars, and obstacles, delays, challenges, Saturn. So when you put those two together, you have like this slow moving anger. You've got fear that makes you feel defensive, right? And because both of these planets are in the sign of Pisces, and Pisces is ruled by Neptune, things may not necessarily be what they seem, right? You may interpret a situation in a certain way that elicits fear or anger within you, right? But what you're perceiving may not be reality. However, you feel like you just want to explode, or you feel like you want to tell somebody off, right? It can be jarring in that way. It can be frustrating in that way, because even if you are feeling angry, even if you are feeling rageful, in fact, the expression of that rage is going to be like watered down. You may not be able to express yourself effectively. Okay. So it's really important for us to be mindful of how we react to things during this transit, how we express ourselves during this transit, and what is actually going on. Okay. This could be on the more negative side. Let's talk more about the negatives first with this transit. This could be a time where you are being forced to confront your deepest fears, or even your deepest desires, your darkest desires, right? Now, you should already be familiar with this, because with Chiron, the Chiron energy of this week surrounding the eclipse, it's bringing things up. And I feel like this Mars conjunction to Saturn in Pisces is going to further bring up stuff, perhaps stuff you don't like about yourself. Okay. It could elicit a lot of emotion, a lot of perhaps negative emotion. So sadness, depression, um, anger, rage, those kind of things could definitely come to the surface during this particular transit. Okay. It could just be conflict, especially conflict that's been brewing under the surface for a while. You may find that under this transit, it kind of comes to a head. Okay. So again, it's important how you react to things. It's important that before you pop off, take a step back and like assess the situation as best you can, because you may not be seeing it for what it really is. Now, on the positive side, I like to, if I had to sum up this transit in a phrase, it would be iron sharpens iron. Whatever resistance, whatever obstacles, whatever confrontation you face with this transit can only help make you stronger. It not only builds character, it builds stamina, right? Life cannot be roses and rainbows every day. We know this. And this is one of those transits that kind of reminds you of that, that kind of shows you the not so positive side of life, but in order to make you stronger. Now, the fear with this particular transit is that it can take you into a spiral, a negativity spiral, or it can just get you stuck in like a really shitty place emotionally. Don't allow yourself to stay there. By all means, you need to feel whatever it is you are feeling. The one thing we are learning on the spiritual journey is to not deny how we feel. You got to feel the emotions. That's the point. They're meant to be felt. But don't stay there. Don't stew in it. If you're met with an obstacle, as angry or as frustrated as it makes you feel, understand that it's not going to last forever. But also try to understand what part of your character needs to come to the surface so that you can deal with this obstacle. Maybe so that you can get around this obstacle. Maybe so that you can bulldoze through this obstacle, right? Obstacles are not an indication to stop permanently, I should say. Obstacles do make us pause, but they shouldn't always make you stop. And I think I've mentioned this before, where it's like, you feel like you want something, you're on the road to working toward it, and you're met with an obstacle. And sometimes the first thing you say is, "Oh my gosh, so I guess this isn't meant for me." And that's not it at all. A lot of times it's to build character. Let's say you want to be famous, right? Or you want to be well known. And let's say you start a YouTube channel and you're going about it, you're being consistent, but you're noticing that you're not getting any subscribers and your view count sucks. And you say to yourself, okay, so maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I'm not meant to have this. Don't we say that as spiritual beings sometimes? Or maybe this isn't meant for me. Calm down. Who do you have to be? Who do you have to embody in order to move past this obstacle? You have to embody someone who is well known. You have to embody someone who is famous, right? Now, it's not like, please, there's a very fine line when we talk about embodiment, right? It is a bit delusional, but please don't lose sight of like common sense and things like that. Embody that, meaning how would someone who is famous, how would they think? What would they do? Right? Maybe it's looking at your analytics and seeing what works and doubling down on that. Maybe it's getting the professional advice from someone who can help you grow your channel, help you get your name and your brand out there. Maybe it's adopting a certain style of video that would attract more views and therefore more subscribers, right? You're thinking from the space of someone who is famous or well known, right? That's what embodying embodies, right? So when you hit those obstacles, when you hit that brick wall, when you're confronted with resistance, who do you have to be to get past it? That is exactly what this transit is here to show you. It's here to show you. Here's what I'll say. Have you ever been in a situation that required you to muster up strength you didn't even know you had? And then once you get past that situation, you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know I was that strong. I didn't even know I could do this. I didn't even know that I was capable of overcoming this, right? This is one of those transits where it's going to be like, listen, I got to get past this. So who do I have to be to do so, right? It's also just a great transit for getting to work. And the fact that both of these planets are in Pisces, this is getting to work on your dreams, on your goals, no matter how lofty they are, no matter what obstacle presents itself. Don't give up. This is about fighting. This is about being consistent. This is about being disciplined about the work that you need to do. So while it may suck, Wednesday and the surrounding days may not feel the best, power through it, push through it, embody the end results, and be willing to fight to get there. All right, let's keep it moving. All right. So on Thursday, we've got the Sun conjunct Mercury in the sign of Aries, and we've got the moon moving into Gemini. So you will see Mercury and the sun at the upper left-hand portion of the chart. Both of those planets will be at 22 degrees of Aries. And then you will see at the bottom left-hand portion of the chart, the moon will be at 0 degrees of Gemini. All right. I just want to highlight this comment from Ultra Instinct. It says, embrace your delusion as long as it works for you. Exactly. Right. It doesn't matter how lofty your dream is. Now, there is a fine line between like being productively delusional, I guess you could say, and like fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it has a very different energy signature than embodiment, like embodying your delusion, right? Fake it till you make it comes from this place of lack. Like, I'm not this thing, so I'm going to pretend to be this thing, all the while knowing that I'm not this thing. Guess what? All you're going to manifest is more of not being that thing. Anytime you manifest from a mindset or from a place of lack is, you sow seeds of lack, and so you will reap seeds of lack in one way, shape, or form. Embodying your delusion is like, I'm delusional enough to think that I am this thing. And so I'm thinking from this place, right? Some people take it a little further, right? Like I remember when I first got into like law of attraction, right? Back in the day with The Secret, and how, let's say that you want a partner, you would leave room in your closet empty to be filled with your partner's clothes, right? I don't know about that. That shit would make me feel kind of sad. Right? So it's not about, again, we're not manifesting from a place of lack. We're manifesting from a place of abundance. So you can just be in your mind, be like, all right, I am a married woman. I am a married man, right? You embody that energy and you think from that energetic place. Okay? So that's a very good distinction. So we are on to Thursday. So first, Sun conjunct Mercury in Aries. This is putting the focus on thinking and communications. Whenever the sun is conjunct a planet and that planet is at this sweet spot in relation to the sun, it's known as Cazimi. And Cazimi is considered to be a very fortunate placement. So whatever topic, whatever energy that planet exudes, it demonstrates it in a very positive sort of way. So with Mercury being Cazimi, right, in relation to the sun, this is good news. This is bright ideas. This is being able to express yourself effectively, right? And when you express yourself effectively, not only do you feel good, but it's also received well by others. And because this is in the sign of Aries, right? And Aries has a lot to do with our desires. This may be thinking of new things that you want. It may be conveying or expressing yourself or expressing your desires in a way that is positively received by others. So I would say with Sun conjunct Mercury, again, you're going to want to look at where Aries is in your natal chart. This will let you know what area of life this is going to operate under, right? But it's a great time to let people know what you do and to ask for things, perhaps, right? Whether, let's say, Aries is your second house. So you would be a Pisces rising, right? It's a Pisces rising. You may want to ask for money. You might get it. You might want to ask. This may be a time where you want to look for a new job, right? You want to express what you're doing so that people can help you. If you are a Libra rising, right, and Aries is your seventh house of relationships, you may want to shoot your shot. It'll likely be received well. You may want to ask someone to marry you. You may want to make a business deal official. It will likely go well because Sun conjunct Mercury, Mercury Cazimi, is a very positive placement. Okay, so again, look to see where Aries is in your chart. This is where everything is going down. Now, Thursday may likely be a busy day full of activity. Mercury is the busybody planet of the solar system. And so the energy signature of Mercury is like an ornery toddler, just all over the place, doing the most, yelling, screaming, being vocal, running around, right? Our lives tend to get busier when Mercury is activated, whether it's generally like this or personally in your own natal chart. But apart from that, the moon is also going to be in Gemini. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. So Thursday is probably going to be a day that's full of activity, whether it's lots of text messages, phone calls, etc. Or maybe your immediate environment's got a lot going on. Maybe there's construction going on in your neighborhood. Maybe there's a lot going on at your job that day, right? It's a busy body kind of day where you're kind of doing multiple things. You may be multitasking. You may be talking to a lot of people. This is a great day to conduct business, to negotiate, to buy and to sell, to learn, to teach. All of these things will thrive on Thursday. All right. Oh, wow. And I just realized something. I am teaching a webinar on Wednesday. I feel like I kind of should have done it on Thursday, but there are other attenuating circumstances why I picked Wednesday, but regardless, like that just dawned on me. So yeah, do those things on Thursday. They will likely turn out positively. All right, let's keep it moving. And then finally, we close out the week on Saturday with the moon moving into its home sign of Cancer. And you will see that at the upper left-hand portion of the chart, the moon will be at 0 degrees of Cancer. All right, so it's interesting because we go from Taurus, where the moon is exalted, where you kind of just want to relax and chill, then to Gemini, where the moon is busy and hectic, and then to Cancer, which brings it down a notch. Whenever the moon is in its home sign of Cancer, the energy is very potent. So not only do we sort of want to power down and perhaps hunker down at home, we tend to be very emotional. We tend to be very sensitive. We tend to be very moody, right? This is this is when the moon in Cancer is typically when people like get on your nerves. And you kind of just want to retreat. Like you kind of just don't even want to talk to anybody because you're either feeling very sensitive or you're kind of just in your feelings that day. But when the moon is in Cancer, it allows us to cultivate and to nurture the things that we want. We become defensive about our goals. And especially because this new moon solar eclipse happens at the new moon. So this is the waxing phase of the moon. So this is when we are actively taking steps toward achieving the things that we want. And when the moon is in Cancer, it reminds us that manifestation is an inside job first and foremost. And how you feel about something is what gives life to your manifestation, which can be kind of difficult, right? Because if you're experiencing obstacles or delays or anything like that, you may feel like your goal is unattainable, that you're never going to achieve the thing that you want, but you have to feel it real. You have to feel as though you already have it, and you have to feel positive about it. And I know that's so much easier said than done, especially if you're trying to manifest something that you've never had before. Maybe you don't know how it feels to have this thing. Even if you don't know how it feels to have this thing, just feel good, feel appreciative, feel gratitude. Be grateful for the fact that you already have it. That's the feeling that you should embody. But otherwise, when the moon is in Cancer, stay home. It's a great energy to spend time with family. It's a great energy to just be at home, take care of domestic things, and just feel good, right? Which may mean isolation a little bit, right? Because what do crabs do? Crabs sort of retreat. Do they retreat into their shells? I believe that they do. Let's say that. Let's say that crabs retreat into their shells, right? That's kind of what we like to do when the moon is in Cancer. All right. So it's a nice sort of relaxing way to end the week. So yeah, just power down and feel it real. All right. So that is the weekly astro forecast. So now let's get into some messages from Spirit. All right, so as always, I choose these cards by sign. However, whether it's your sun sign, your moon sign, your Venus sign, your Jupiter sign, your North Node, it doesn't matter. If it's your message and it resonates, then it's your message. If not, it's not. All right, so as always, we start off with Aries. Let's see what we've got for Aries for this week. Aries, we've got the King of Wands. This is you. You guys are super fired up, super confident. I mean, after all, this eclipse happened in your sign. So it's all about reinventing yourself. And I feel like you feel really good about who you are becoming. You're feeling very expressive. You're feeling very confident. You're feeling fired up, not only about the goals that you want to achieve, but also who you are becoming. So be fearless as you move forward. All right. Be yourself. Aries is all about the self. And the fact that your card showed up for you is exactly that. That's a message in and of itself. Show up for yourself. Your priority at this time should be you. Okay. And it should be you, not to the detriment of other people, but to cultivate this new you that you are developing. All right. So this week, just be yourself. Okay. Next up, we've got Taurus. Let's see what we've got for Taurus for this week. Oh, Taurus, that just flew out. I usually don't take the ones that fall on the floor, but I'm being guided to take this one. And I can see why. Taurus, it is the Empress. This is Venus energy. So this is you also. So far, I want to say, and I feel like this is just a message for everybody. The theme this week is being yourself, right? Like embodying who you are. Maybe you're turning it up a notch this week, but being you is the name of the game this week. All right, Taurus, you are abundant. You are prolific. You are situated. You are stable. This is a great energy from which to manifest, understanding that you have it all and that you can give birth to whatever it is that you want at this time. You're very fertile. For some of you, that's physically. So if you're not trying to have a baby, you know what to do, right? But you're very fertile. You're very abundant. Whatever you set your mind to create, it's going to be prolific. Like there's going to be a lot of it. So if it's love, a lot of love. If it's money, a lot of money. If it's abundance, same thing. If it's health, lots of good health, right? So be mindful of exactly what you're planting this week because you are very fertile. Okay. Next up, we've got Gemini. Let's see what we've got for Gemini for this week. Gemini, we've got the Eight of Cups. You are definitely abandoning something, and it has a lot to do with emotions. You're figuring out what doesn't serve you, and you're kind of just leaving it in the past. For some of you, there's a situation that did not turn out the way that you had hoped. You had a lot of optimism for the fact that you thought that this situation was going to fill you up emotionally. It was going to emotionally fulfill you, and it hasn't. And it's like this eclipse has really put a line in the sand, drawn a line in the sand, and it's like you're not willing to entertain this situation anymore, so you are walking away. Now I get the sense this is not an easy thing to walk away from. I'm feeling resistance. I'm feeling a little bit of weight. So this could be a situation that you've been in for a while. You've been perhaps trying to make it work for a while, and you're realizing now that this ain't it. And it's really time to leave. It's time to go in a different direction. For some of you, the direction you're going is the past. You're going back to someone or something from the past, okay? You kind of just have to do it. As painful as it may be, I'm also hearing rip the Band-Aid off. Do not prolong this. I feel like you've prolonged this enough already. It's time to really be final, be definite, and walk away, okay? Next up, we've got Cancer. Let's see what we've got for Cancer. Okay, Cancer, we've got the Four of Wands. This is definitely giving domestic vibes. So something concerning home is going to be highlighted this week. It could be a marriage, so your marriage may be highlighted. It could be just the energy surrounding your home, right? Like maybe managing, I'm hearing managing expectations and managing attitudes, right? I feel like this management is going to be positive. There may be a reason to celebrate this week. There may just be happiness and peace in the home. But this is making you feel very much like yourself, okay? And okay, I have to go back to that Gemini message from before. The reason that you're walking away from the situation is because it's not reflective of who you are. And I feel like you're really coming into who you are right now. And so you're realizing that that situation is not in alignment with who you are. And that's why you're walking away. I say that because what I said before, this is a week where everyone is really sort of embodying who they authentically are. And Cancer, I feel like things on the home front, you're feeling very much like yourself. You're feeling comfortable. You're feeling secure. You're feeling like your emotional needs and desires are being met. So it's almost like this is a week where you're basking in the energy of home and in the energy of who you are. I really like that for you. All right. Next up, we've got Leo. Let's see what we've got for Leo for this week. All right, Leo. Again, I'm being guided to pick up whatever has fallen on the floor, even though I usually don't. Leo, you've got the Two of Cups. It's the health of a relationship that's coming into focus. Relationships have a lot to do with heart, not just romantic relationships, all relationships. Is your heart really in it? What does your heart truly want? What do you truly want out of this relationship? Let's say it's a friendship, because I'm getting strong like friendship vibes, right? Is it equitable, right? Is your friendship one-sided? Are you looking for a friend who can really vibe with you on your level, right? Are you looking for friends? I'm hearing like, are you looking for followers? Like, what is your intention behind this relationship that's coming into focus? What's truly in your heart? You guys are heart-led. And so this is a week where you're really examining if the relationships in your life are in alignment with what's truly in your heart. And it's like you're auditing your relationships, right? I want you to take a look at this card. You see the two snakes here? This is like the medical symbol, right? It's like you're auditing your relationships to see how healthy they are and sort of making decisions from there. But again, they have to be in alignment with what's truly in your heart. So maybe this is a week where you're figuring out what is truly in your heart. Either way, the health of certain relationships in your life will be up for review this week. Oh, and with Mercury retrograde, this also may have to do with a relationship from the past. All right. So keep that in mind. All right. Next up, we've got Virgo. Let's see what we've got for Virgo for this week. I like this for you, Virgo. We've got the Nine of Pentacles. This is abundance, right? Be mindful of your alcohol consumption this week. These grapes are giving me wine. It's giving like debauchery. Okay. So if you're drinking this week, be easy. Okay. But this is abundant. Perhaps the reason why you're drinking a lot is because there's a lot to celebrate. There's this feel good energy, and maybe you just want to tap it off with a drink or 10, right? Just practice moderation, but it's abundant. You are feeling abundant. You are in the energy of abundance this week. The frequency of abundance is in alignment with you. This is, again, a wonderful place from which to manifest, right? And understanding that abundance is your birthright. That Virgo energy signature is very much concerned with details and perfection. And when you're in the weeds, in the details, when you're in that perfectionist mode, it's almost like saying, this isn't good enough. I'm not good enough. I have to perfect this. Spirit is like, please drop that this week. Abundance is your birthright. You're good. You're more than good. You're well fed. You're stable. Money's looking really good this week. You don't have to nitpick at everything because everything is good. I love this for you, Virgo. All right. Next up, we've got Libra. Let's see what we've got for Libra for this week. Libra, you are heated about something. All right. We've got the Death card. Something is definitely ending this week. Now, keep in mind, this eclipse, it is endings followed by new beginnings. You got to make room for you 2.0. So something has to end. And it has to do with a relationship of some sort. For some of you, it's a relationship with yourself. Some of you need to understand how you deal with anger, how you deal with frustration, how you deal with resistance, how you deal with being challenged. The relationship that's coming into focus this week is your relationship with yourself. and letting go of habits, of obsessions, of maybe even character traits that don't allow you to process anger healthily. A lot of times people will shame you or put you down or try to put out your fire when you are angry. Maybe you need to learn how to convey yourself and release your anger in a healthy sort of way. And it's in ending how you've been dealing with anger that you're able to transform and have this new beginning that this solar eclipse is providing. So this horse is sort of riding into town, and it's sort of letting you know that, hey, it's time for things to change, right? And as frustrating as it may be, you need to look at yourself first when making this change. All right. And this change is going to be profound, but it's ultimately going to be beautiful. Okay. All right. Next up, we've got Scorpio. Let's see what we've got for Scorpio for this week. Scorpio, we've got the Queen of Cups. This is you. So you are showing up to your own reading as well. So you are meant to be authentically yourself this week. There is this overwhelming feeling of processing emotions and of being tapped into your emotions this week. Now, you guys are a water sign, so that's not a difficult task for you, but it's sort of like, so Scorpio processes emotion in a very visceral and raw sort of way. Almost like, Scorpio, one of your co-rulers is Mars. So when it comes to emotions, you're very aggressive with it. And this week, you need to be a little softer. You need to be a little more receptive. You need to be a little more feminine. And when I say feminine, I don't mean woman. I mean receptive, like very much paying attention to your inner world and your subconscious. So I feel like this is going to be a week that perhaps is quite emotional for you, but in a good way. It's helping you understand yourself and helping you sift through perhaps some emotions that you don't need to be holding on to. You guys are the kings and queens of shadow work. So I feel like this may be a week when you're engaging in shadow work, but in a less aggressive and combative sort of way. It's about addressing it softly. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. Next up, we've got Sagittarius. Let's see what we've got for Sagittarius. All right, Sagittarius, we've got the King of Wands. So you got the same card as Aries. This is you as well. You are feeling very much like yourself, feeling very expansive, feeling very fiery. I'm hearing two things. I'm hearing number one, cast a wide net, whatever that means to you. And number two, your optimism and your expansion is very contagious, almost like a wildfire. So use this perhaps to help motivate other people. So if you are someone who provides a service, if you are someone who engages in speaking to people, I feel like you're going to feel very motivational. You are very inspirational at this time. It's not to say that you need to temper what you do because you've got a lot of people watching you and people are going to be looking up to you. It's more so understanding the message that you're conveying and showing people the way, showing people how to expand in their own lives, showing people how to embrace the fire within them and use that to set their soul on fire. That was I don't know where that sentence came from, but hopefully that makes sense to you. So understand that you are very inspirational this week, and a lot of people will be watching you. A lot of people will be paying attention to you. So be mindful of what you're saying, perhaps. And again, not in a way to temper you, but in a way to let you know how powerful and inspirational you truly are at this time. Okay. Next up, we've got Capricorn. Let's see what we've got for Capricorn for this week. Capricorn, we've got the Five of Pentacles. Okay. So this is, understand that you guys are ruled by Saturn, and Saturn will be conjunct Mars this week, like I mentioned before. So this is a week where you are going to be experiencing some setbacks, perhaps some obstacles, some challenges, but you're built for that. Like, that's the story of your life. So even though this card is seemingly negative, it's very emblematic of your energy, meaning that this is how you overcome. This is how you build character. This is how you get strong, is through adversity, is through challenges, is through obstacles. Like, you guys are very much tapped into the reality of life. And you guys are very sharp when it comes to how to overcome those obstacles. So I feel like this is a week where you're kind of just being you. Things like every Capricorn I know, and when I say Capricorn, I mean Capricorn sun. Every Capricorn I know, they're just like, oh, life is a shit show. Life is hard, but they always come out on top. They always do seemingly the impossible. They always win. They always elevate, right? So this is a week of that for you, all right? So you're going to be feeling like yourself. And it's a week where you strengthen yourself, where you level up, all right? So you're not one to shy away from the hard stuff. Lean into it this week, and you're going to see more of yourself emerging at this time, okay? Next up, we've got Aquarius. Oh, that came out fast. All right, Aquarius, we've got the Temperance card. So things are brewing behind the scenes. It's like there's a meal being prepared and it's not quite ready yet. Things are being tempered. Things are being alchemized at this time. And you are being urged to be patient. Your future is being developed behind the scenes right now. And this is a future that looks very different than anything you've experienced, especially because you've got Pluto in your sign right now. So things are really transforming for you. And you just got to be patient because it's like Spirit is still working on it. In the patience, in this time where things are still cooking, take notice of what is starting to change because you're going to start to see it. It's not like you're sort of in the dark and you've got to wait a long time for this different future to emerge. It's like you're being breadcrumbed right now. So you need to be present and grounded so that you can see exactly how things are changing because these are subtle changes. They're not going to be boom, all in your face all at once. It's happening slowly over time. Enjoy the journey. It's not just about the destination. There's a lot to learn on this journey. There's a lot to see and experience. So keep your eyes open and be present because things are indeed changing. Okay. And last but certainly not least, we've got Pisces. So let's see what we've got for Pisces. Oh, okay. All right, Pisces. I guess I'm taking all the cards that are falling on the floor today. We've got the Devil card. All right, Pisces. The Devil card is not a bad card. It's the card of Capricorn. So this is giving very Capricorn energy. So there may be a Capricorn in your life, maybe a Capricorn from the past that is re-emerging, right? You see these two snakes? It's very much emblematic of what is on the Two of Cups card. So this could be a relationship from the past that's re-emerging or a relationship that is developing. Whatever this relationship is, it is very grounded, okay? It's very stable. For some, this could have to do with work. This could be a work opportunity from the past that is also coming back up. Getting medical fields, medical something. I don't know. But this could have to do with your money and a relationship that's forming that's going to help you gain financial ground. I don't know. That's just what the phrase that they just said to me. Either way, this is like a relationship that is here to stay. This could be like a commitment of some sort, or it's a job or a career change that's also here to stay. Now understand, Capricorn, like I was just saying before, is ruled by Saturn. This is something that's not only going to take time, it's going to take work. So you may be seeing this emerge, especially with this new moon solar eclipse in Aries, but it's going to require work on your part. It may have to do with work, will require work. And this is something that's going to give you stability over time. So this is something that you're going to have to work at, something that you're going to perhaps have to form a system in order to make it work. All right. But stay the course, and you're going to enjoy something or someone lovely in the near future, or maybe not so near future, but the future nonetheless. All right, my love. So that concludes this edition of the weekly Astro Forecast. I sincerely hope that you were able to get at least one important piece of information that you can use going into this week. Again, my webinar is going down on Wednesday. It'll be linked to the video, so you can definitely sign up, definitely attend. It's going to be amazing. For information on all my products and services, you can find all of that great information in the description box below. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have an amazing week, and I will see you in my next video. Take care.